What's up, Twitch? It is Friday. Oh man, this day. I'm so happy it's Friday. So, what are we gonna do today? I don't know. And I don't care. It's Friday. I'm gonna open up test stream. We're gonna look at the README, see what we got going on. Uh, yeah, that all sounds good. Alright, so if I go to Assets, README, we can see what we're doing. But I noticed what I haven't been doing, like all these times, is committing our changes. It's probably good practice that we do that like all the time, but I just haven't been doing it. Alright, so last time we collected sand, so the goal to eventually be able to place molds down, and we fixed the third person camera. Okay, cool. Man, so yeah, I don't know where to start, and I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I just got home. So let's do some things first. We go ahead and modify the channel, because I think I should rename all of this stuff. So we're at episode 11. Will be, what will we be doing? I don't know. Guess we'll fix camera, because we didn't really do that last time. We fixed a little bit. And merge both scenes. And we'll say merge changes. Maybe? Okay. Let's do some of that. That sounds like fun. I'm going to go ahead and post. Where am I going? Facebook? Bum 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 bum. I was listening to Old World RPG on the way in, and he's I'm not really watching this stream, but I'm listening to all like the really old RPG music, and it was good. Like it was like just battle scenes from Final Fantasy, and it was totally cool. All right, so and I gotta put the link. Excellent. And I am. Okay, let me stop looking at my Facebook. Gosh, I didn't even get a chance to unwind or anything, so I'm like just getting home. Alright, so there we go. Oh, I like that picture better. Cool. Alright, next is the actual doing of stuff. So let's pop this out. Make this smaller, but make this chat bigger. Yeah, so it looks like my bitrate and everything have been working good the last 10 or so episodes, so I'm glad. Alright, excellent. Everything looks good. Okay, let's see what we want to do first. Should we just start merging the scenes and then playing with the cameras? Probably. Let's do that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make a merge scene. So how are we going to do that? I think I'm just going to make a third scene, and now it'll be called the merge scene. Alright. So, or in fact, this is what we'll do. We'll commit our git just so we have a starting point, and then we'll modify scene 0 directly. So let's do that. Well, honestly, okay, so this is what I'm trying to avoid. The terrain in Unity, like, so if I go to smart git, it's kind of big. and I don't know if I want to like actually commit that to the server just because it's a big file. I mean, relatively, it's a couple megs, and all my scripts and everything are like just kilobytes big. Even like my images are kilobytes big. My models, you know. So I like to keep everything small. So if I sorted everything by size, we can see that our new terrain.asset is 2 megs. The biggest thing we have besides that is our sand textures, and I probably don't even need the big one anymore. We're just using the small one. And even our raw files, like our raw terrain files, are smaller. It's like 500K and actually 200K, 200K. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Space is cheap. We can commit whatever we want. So here we go. Forgot to commit in a while. We did lots of stuff, and this description is super useful. Alright, so in the future, I'm going to do a much better job in tracking my stuff. So I'm going to stage all those. I'm going to commit it. I'm going to push it to the server. Commit and push it to the server. So that might slow down the stream a little bit because I'm uploading. Okay, but it's done. And if I go to my log, I'll bring the log over here. And here we go. This is my log. So I'm still on the master branch, and I've made 4 commits. So I was pretty good at the beginning of August, but now we're in the 7th day of August, and there's nothing in between the 2nd day of August and the 7th day of August. So yeah, shame on me, but what am I gonna do? It's too late now. Alright, cool. So we have somewhere we're starting off from. This is what I'm gonna do. I am going to open scene 0, and we're going to just start replacing stuff. Actually, I'm going to go to scene 1. I'm going to copy the terrain, the cube. What is the cube? I don't need the cube. The terrain, the water, and that's it. So I'm going to right click, copy. Let's open our scene 0. Can we just paste it? Bam. Okay. What else I'm going to do is I'm going to totes my goats, flatten my terrain. So I don't think I have a tool here to do that. I can do that by the script, but I don't know. All right, let's look through our tools. Here we go, flatten tool. So if we just hit flatten, if we said 0 and flatten, bam. All right, so at least it's on the ground. Alright, so we flatten our ground. I'm going to move the water down to the ground. So I'm going to click here, zero it out. So everything's kind of clipping with each other. You can see here's my original ground, here's my terrain, and here's my water. So I'm going to get rid of the ground. Is there any cool scripts or anything on it? Nope, just that gray color. Delete. Alright, so my ground is now this sandy terrain. I like the sandy terrain, but for now, I'm just going to keep it like it was originally, which is that gray color. Just because I kind of know that still I'm developing and everything. Hey MonsterPod 312, how's it going, dude? I am going to go ahead and give it that gray color. So let's do that. Models, materials, that nice gray color. Oh, I don't do it like that. This is a terrain. So terrain, you got to do that in the textures. So texture. Here we go. I'm going to edit this texture. Instead of that nice awesome playground, oh, gray is a material, not a texture. So I think I need to go here, base material, built-in standard. I can do custom, the custom material. I'll make it gray. And so we have a gray material with a texture on it, but actually it looks kind of cool. I mean, we know it has a texture, and now it has. But let's see what it's saying. Can't use material with shaders which need tangents geometry on terrain. Use shaders, nature, terrain instead. Yeesh, I don't know. I'm not that experienced. I don't know what that means. I'm just pretend like that's not there. That solves it, right? Alright, cool. So we have this gray material and the sand texture sort of overlapping with each other. So, okay, so far so good. And then also in here, you can see that shine. That I think that's from the water. So we have a little bit of water. So I'm going to raise the water ever so slightly, like 0.1. And so now we're going to have like this. Oh, so that gray material is not really the material, it's the water. Jula J! What's up, dude? Alright. So far we replaced the ground with our beach, our gray beach now, and water. The water's just kind of waving in and out, which is not a very good effect, but hey, I'll take it for now. Yeehaw! No, I fell off the block. Okay. And then I can rotate the camera around. Nice. So, okay, I replaced the ground, but then what happens is if I go to my navigation, we can see the navigation still blocked off to what our original ground was. So I'm going to just regenerate this navigation. So I'm going to bake it. And now we have the terrain, the whole terrain. So that's cool. So nice flat terrain. And I can probably walk all the way to the edge, hopefully. Yep. Very nice. Oh, I'm getting some crazy things. Trying to access out of bounds height information. Oh, digging sand is running. Interesting. Interesting. So am I... Oh, but digging sand can't work because it's already at 0. Okay, so now we gotta think of stuff. Right now, the controls... Well, okay, before I explain things, I'm going to go back to the inspector. I'm going to disable all this other scripts. Can you see them? Yeah. I'm going to disable the terrain dig and the sand collector, because I might even remove them, because I don't really want them on the terrain. I want them on the camera, because like I said in the previous stream, like I want my controls to be based on the camera I'm looking through. So if I'm in third person mode, I'm going to be controlling the guy by clicking around so he can move. But if I'm in first person mode, I'm going to be wanting to like dig in the sand and or put sand on there. So I can just do that by enabling and disabling cameras, and when I enable a camera, that's the controls I'm going to use. So that's how I'm kind of playing it. So I'm going to remove these two things. So right now the terrain dig and sand collector are no longer, but my game is still running. And then if I hit tab on my keyboard, I go into first person mode. And right now what first person mode is, I get to just place sand castles. I'm going to change that now. So instead of sand castles, I want me to be able to dig in the ground when I'm in first person mode. So I'm no longer going to be placing sandcastles like this, but I guess I'll have like an option off to the side here to have like hand for your digging, sandcastle bucket for your placing sandcastles, and other options just here on the left side, just so you can choose what you want to do. So okay, so I'm no longer going to be doing that. Oh, but let me go ahead and run over some sandcastles first before I... because we might not see these sandcastles for a little bit. So let me have my final moments with them and step on them. Yay! Sandcastles are being destroyed. Now they're little mounds, little white mounds, but I guess they're okay. They look so unnatural on the gray terrain. Okay. Cool. Cool, cool. Alright, I'm just playing around with the movement. Just make sure it still works. Alright, so we're going to disable all that cool stuff that we worked on earlier. So look, on the player camera, I have my sandcastle placer, which is where I left click and it places sandcastles down. But I'm going to keep my panning script. So I was thinking about this yesterday as I was ending my stream. When I pan, I don't really want to move the camera. I want to move the player, because when he moves around, the camera that's attached to him will move around, and that's how I'm gonna, I think, move the camera. So we're gonna have to redo the camera pan script too. So okay, anyway, all that to say, I'm disabling, or actually removing, the sandcastle placer for now. Okay, if it was only so simple as to take my my terrain dig and my sand collection. Alright, so let me think about this. Sand collection is going to be done by player. Player is going to be collecting sand. No ifs, ands, or ors about it. That's what he's going to do. Terrain dig, on the other hand, is going to live on the camera. So that will, terrain dig is a control, so that will live on the camera. So let's see what happens here. Let's look at the script, because it's not going to work out of the box. We're going to have to make some modification to the code. And we might want to refactor this too, but I'll work on that later. Okay. So right now, terrain is getting the component terrain. We no longer on the terrain object, so we can't just do this. We can find it in the overall scheme of things. So if we know for sure we're only going to have one terrain, we can just replace this with game object dot find objects of type terrain, and if you know you're only going to get one, you can use this function, and now you've got reference to that terrain even though it's a whole different game object. The global game object knows, hey, I still have an object with the terrain. So we can do it like that, and I might just leave it like that for now. Everything else might be fine, because we are just getting the mouse positions and having a last position which is based on mouse positions. We're shooting an array from the camera, camera.main. So instead of camera.main, now the controls are on the camera. So what we're going to do is we got to get a reference to camera. So we're going to get camera equals get component camera, and I'm just going to make that a private variable. And that's that. Now we have a reference to camera. So instead of using camera.main, we can, because remember, this is actually attached to the camera, so we can do it like this. So camera.screen point array. Okay, so that's cool. So this is all based on terrain stuff, and the take sand, it's launching an event, so people are still going to have to, not people, objects are still going to have to subscribe to this, and I got to make this change. That's why I want to refactor it, because I'm doing the same code twice. And on destroy, we do sand dig equals null. Okay, excellent, 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 excellent. So what am I going to do? Man, I just lost my train of thought. Got the camera. Oh, now I got to subscribe to this guy. So terrain dig, I think, is done. Now we can go to the other thing on player, the sand collector. So sand collector's responsibility is only to know how much sand does the player have. So he's going to be digging and collecting sand. And once he collects sand, he'll be able to have the two choices so far that I can think of. And that's to place the sand back, or he can put a whole sand castle down if he has enough sand. If he doesn't have enough sand, like, he puts the bucket down, lifts it up, and it's just a mound. So that's his two options. Alright, so right now we're getting component terrain dig, but terrain dig's on a different object. So does it have to be? No, I can put the sand collector on the camera. It just doesn't feel like the right place to do it. But we do know that terrain digs within the children. So I think we can do get component in children. Is that a thing? Perfect. Get component in children terrain dig. And if you only have one terrain dig, which we should because that's the controller, the input, I mean, should be fine. Everything else is the same. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's all we had to do. Just change a few lines of code. Let's see if I'm right or if I'm totally wrong. So okay, here's my player. Oh, you know what sucks is we're all at 0 right now. So we're going to have to change that a little bit. And what do I mean we're at 0? The terrain's at 0. So you literally can't dig any further down in the terrain because it's at the lowest level. So we're gonna have to change that a little bit. So what we do is we are going to do what? Okay, we have the terrain height. That's 10. I'm gonna make this at like 50%. So if 10 is this 10 the max? Yeah, 10's the max. So if I do 5 and flatten it, yeah. Oh, it might help if I'm hitting the button 5 instead of end. 5. It's flattened, but it's too high. So we got to shift this down a little bit too. So -5. Right? And so we lifted it up 5, but then we brought it right back down 5. So it's at the 5 height, so we can still place stuff up and dig down. So that's exactly what we want. But at the same time, it's literally located in the world space at 0, 0, 0. Alright. Moment of truth. Can we dig in the sand? Tab. What am I looking at? Where's the camera? Player camera. Where are you? Weird, right? Oh, at least sand is working. I mean, this is working. And place sand. Awesome. Oh, geez. There's a lot of things going on here now that I'm realizing it. But all in all, the sand dig stuff is working and the sand place stuff is working. And I wonder if it's just going to keep... Oh, and now I'm running out of sand, so I can't place any more sand. So it's all working, but there's stuff wrong. Before I go into that, I just want to see what happens if I kind of move around. I'm stuck on this terrain. Like, I wonder if I have to, like... God, maybe I have to even, like, rebake the nav mesh. Well, at least at these levels I do, because look at, like, these are really walls I can't do anything about. So if I move my player over here, I should be fine. Yeah, but my player just can't do anything. Like, he's gonna try, and I could probably jump on those things. Oh, you see, I'm stuck already. Great. Get me off this thing. So yeah, definitely work to be done here. But cool. So far we got sand dig and sand place ready. But here are some things that are happening. Right now I'm using Fire 1 and Fire 2 to do sand dig and sand place. But we're also using camera pan with right click, or Fire 2. So that conflicts. So I'm panning the camera and placing stuff down, which is you saw, like, it wasn't very... I mean, I don't know if you saw, but if I hit space, tab, and like I dig, oh yeah, this is really good. This is healthy for the eyes. You see I'm panning around as I place sand. So anyway, I have to flatten the land. So just a reiteration, if you modify terrain, even in play mode, it sticks, whatever changes you do. So be careful. Right now I don't really care about any of that, so I'm just trying to flatten the land again. Alright, so first things first, I gotta see where in the world is player camera. It's way back there. Why is it way back there? Is it way back there? Huh. It's not way back there when you start. When you start, it's like on his face, right? But the second you start the game, it's way back there. I don't know. I have no good answer. So, alright, we're going to have to look at our camera pan script. Like I said, this is going to have to change because we want to do multiple things. We want to move the player, not necessarily the camera. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh man, it's a little hot in this house. I'm going to just kind of... Alright. Alright. That error is just because I had two cameras with two audio, like each one had an audio listener on, and that when they're both enabled, it like freaks out a little bit. So make sure you disable one camera when you enable another one. And this script is doing that. I was just mainly playing with it with the little checkbox up here. Okay. So what's next? What's next? We got to play with the camera pan script because that is obviously broken. So right now all this is doing is kind of making a velocity and then moving that camera with that velocity. And it even has an acceleration, so acceleration's here, and so it does that. All it does is like, hey, if you right click somewhere and you like drag over there, your camera starts moving that way. So that's all this script is doing. So it wasn't like too much work went into this, but I'd like to save some of this if I can. But I can't use like the normal player movement script, because that player movement script, he has to like turn his body and then like walk that way. So or use like the rotational animation, and like that looks good when you're far away, but when you're like in first person, it's more natural like to strafe left and right versus like turn and look at it. It's not going to look as good, especially if like you're building a sandcastle or something. You just want that one view, and you just kind of want to pan it around. You don't want to actually turn into it. Okay, so that being said, I'm trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do here. I think I'm just going to move the player and basically all movement engine be screwed. Basically, I'm going to make him kinematic. I'm going to disable nav mesh agent. I'm going to disable rigid body. I'm going to disable animation. So he's just going to be like a player looking down, and he's just going to move around with the camera for now. Of course, if you're in multiplayer, this will look awful to everyone looking at you, looking at the ground, because then all of a sudden you go like, your body goes stiff or idle, and you're like just shifting around the map, and that doesn't look good at all. But that's the plan for now, until I can make animations and stuff where he's like maybe on his knees and hands and like playing in the sand. Okay. So that's the plan. That's the plan. I need music, but I'm scared if I put music on this channel, like they're going to say I have copyright material and then not put up my audio, because I like my audio. Alright, cool. Alright, so what am I doing? Alright, yeah, I'm making my camera. So let's go. Let's go. Boom 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 boom. So alright, to move the camera, we're gonna first have to get an instance of player. So to get player, gosh, I don't even know. Do I just get my parent? Is that the easiest way to do it? I know it's not the right way to do it, but let's see. Parent, right? So I can just keep navigating up to my parent. So that's kind of what I'll do. Dot parent dot, what kind of object do you get when you get dot parent? It's another transform. Dot game object dot name, or tags. I should really make player the player tag. That would be a good idea, right? So let's do that. Player is player tagged. Awesome. So far so good. So he's player tagged, and so I got player tag. Now we just need a function. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say player equals get player, and the reason I'm going to do this is I'm going to make it recursive. This is going to be a game object get player. So if my name let's see, if game object dot name equals, nope, game object dot tag equals player, then return game object. Is that wrong? What did I do wrong here? double equals. Alright, if I am player, return myself. Else, how am I going to do this? Return, oh, I know what I got to do. Let's do transform. Transform self, transform lack of a better phrase. Alright, transform. So if transform dot game object dot tag equals player, then return game object. Else return get player Alright, if transform I'm trying to think of this. Alright, here we go. If transform.gameObject.tag equals player, return player. Else if transform.parent equals null, return null. So there is no object. Else, if you do have a parent, then just run this function again with your parent. That makes sense. Okay, so that's how you get player. That's how we're going to do it. So basically, it doesn't matter how far deep you are in your parent chain. It's just going to keep working its way up the hierarchy. So if you're like 10 children deep, it's going to say, hey, are you player? Are you player? Are you player? Are you? Okay, you're player. Great. And I just got to make sure the tag is not distributed. Like it's not distributed among the children. So let's see, player, but then if I go to player camera, it's untagged. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. That's my desktop. Okay, so I got player. What do I got? I got player. Got player. That's a good start. Good start. So we have player and we have the initial offset. What's the initial offset? I don't know if I even need that. Transform dot position. Oh, what if we did transform dot local position? That might be better. Because I think I see what's going on. We're adjusting the local position, but we really should start off with the local position. Okay, awesome. So we got the player. So that's what this function is. And I like I said in many casts before, I like all my non-Unity stuff to be at the end and all my Unity stuff to be up here. Okay, cool. So okay, we're gonna do the same thing, except maybe fire two. Could we just do? Alright, so this is for the panning motion. Right now, I'm using right-click to place sand. Maybe I'll just use the middle button for now. And it's gonna be a mouse button because I have no better thing to do yet. Not mouse position, that get mouse button at all. And the int button, is there a mouse button thing? Or do I just alright. I forget. Unity scripts, please help. Get mouse button. Please tell me what 0, 1, and 2 is. 0, left, 1, right, 2, middle. Perfect. So I want 2. Middle click. And we need to close that out. And then we're going to place this here. So we're going to just like drag with the middle mouse button for now. Get mouse button down. So if you're pressing it down, you start to drag. If you let go of, if you're holding it down, then it starts updating your target velocity, which is great. So instead of moving the camera though, which is this initial offset, which I shouldn't worry about, I think I'm going to move player.transform.local position. Player.transform.local position. I think that's it. I don't know. And right now I didn't disable anything from player, so he's basically all rigid body nav mesh, so he might fight what I'm about to do. Which if nav mesh agent is on, he's definitely going to fight what I'm about to do. So we're doing that, and then we're middle clicking. So it's definitely wanting to, maybe. Null, oh, so player's not ready yet. Okay. So basically you're saying they couldn't find player. But I'm checking if the tag is player, right? So I bet you if I serialize this field, player is totally not going to be ready. And where is this? This is on player camera, right? Yeah, player is empty. So if I put player in there, at least the errors will go away, so I can clear all that. Oh, is it working, sorta? Oh, that's good. So at least player, and you can still see player shadow and everything, but he is obeying the rules. He's moving around. He's idle. I guess nav mesh agent and everything is disabled, right? So if I go to player, or he just doesn't care anymore. Like, why is it letting me move him around? Or maybe who knows? I'm not complaining right now, just because I know this is very, like, rudimentary. Awesome. Okay. So we got player moving around. I don't know how to get player if player is not, like, ready to go. So, like, player camera is obviously being created first. But yeah, like player camera is being created first, and this is on camera, so this script gets created first, but it doesn't know about player. But player does have the tag player. What I might do is just every time this game object gets called, I'm going to debug and log the transform to make sure it's what it says it is. So okay, and I'm not doing anything with local player now, just so. The variable player of camera pan has not been assigned. You probably need to assign player variable of the script in the inspector. Camera pan.start. Okay, so it at least knows and tells you about it. And then if I really looked at the camera, it would say, yep, player is none. I know you can't, oh yeah, you can't see it. Player is none. So is it just too soon, I guess? Because it gets it like returns null right away. Yeah, I guess the parents are just not ready yet. One last thing I'm going to look at. The the execution of orders. Maybe I just can do it in a different frame or something. So I'm doing it at start, the latest of the initialization. I see there's physics, input event, game logic, so I could do it in the update loop. Gosh, but I just didn't want to do that. But I guess that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Just to get it working and just so I don't have to like keep updating the Unity scripts and everything. So that's what I'll do. Since it doesn't work here, all I'm going to do is say if player equals null. I can almost do this at the bottom. Yeah, sorry. If player equals null, do this stuff. And one of those things would be, oh gosh, what did I do? It would be get player. Player would be I'm sorry. Player would equal get player, and just do this transform. Let's rename this just so there's no confusion. Input transform. Child transform. Maybe that's better. Okay. Cool. And actually this doesn't belong in here. This is more of like an else thing. Yep. So if player doesn't exist, get it, else do something else. And actually, I don't like that. I like it like this. If player is equal to null, get the player, and then I'm going to just do a very similar thing. If player does not equal null, do this. Lost my code because I hit Control C up here and that was a mistake. Alright, so if it's not equal null, do that. Else, just return. You don't have to do the calculation. Something like that. I hate to do 3 checks, but that's what I'm gonna do. I can't let it go, right? If player equals null, return. So first we try to get the player. If he's still null, then, you know, too bad. I'm sure there's a better way to write that. It's just, that's how my mind is thinking this Friday afternoon. Alright, 43 minutes, not too bad. And then if player doesn't equal null, go ahead and do all of that stuff. Oh wait, we already know player doesn't equal null, so we don't have to do that second check. Awesome. Because we checked above. Hey, is he null? No? Alright, keep doing the code. Awesome! Alright, cool. Let's keep it going. So we know, hopefully now we'll get the player. That's really all we wanted that thing to do. So player is none. Oh, maybe I'll do it now. Oh, look at that. Player cam. Player cam. Man, that's not what I want to move around, because if I do that, it just moves the camera. So I'm basically saying, hey, if I am the, if my tag is player, is my tag player? Man, oops. This stuff's so hard sometimes. Alright, so player camera is untagged, right? But if I enable it, still untagged. Player camera is untagged, so why are you player? I'm telling you. So yeah, this should be, is it, oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to see. GameObject.name, is it, give me both things, plus a blank plus GameObject.tag. Awesome, something like that. Tell me what you're looking at when you're doing your code. You should have at least, whoa, what's going on? Why is nothing specified? Oh, because I never went to the this thing. Player camera untagged, right? So why is that the player camera untagged? Player camera untagged. Oh, maybe I know. Yep. You got to return child transform .game object. That's where I screwed up. Always good to debug the code. Now, moment of truth. Go here. Go first person mode. Check out my player camera. Player's player. Yeehaw! Alright, so we got that code working. So if I middle click and move around, player moves around, which looks great. I don't have any limits, so he goes forever. One thing I don't like is it's way too fast, right? So let's terrain dig. Let's add some numbers. Let's call this public int. Nope, public float dig rate equals 0.01f. Dig rate is also, I'm going to put you here. Is that right? Yeah, dig rate. So what we're finding though is that 0.1 is kind of too fast. But now we have a dig rate here, which you don't see. So if I go to my screen right quick and I don't know, take off my face, you see dig rate is 0.01. So if I made this like 0.001, like a tenth of what's happening, maybe this will be better. Yeah, it's very subtle, but now it's kind of, I like that. I think I like that much better. It's very smooth and very, you really have to kind of move stuff around. But I'm sure I'm collecting sand too quickly too, so let's check my player, my sand collection. So right now as I like move this around, my sand collection is getting really high, but then I put this back and it's, I mean, it's good. Nice. Still a wall. Made something I can jump over. Yeah, this water stuff, I don't know if I like it. Water might make you below the ground, like negative 0.01. Oh, but even if I do that, it's still not enough. Like 0.5. Will that at least stop the water? And so I can only see the water through the holes. I hope so. Yeah. Maybe I'll use a different water too. This one's very wavy, and all the scripts are kind of weird. So I'm going to delete that water. I think there's two waters in here, right? Prefabs. Let's just do simple water. Let's put it here. It's still very wavy, and all these scripts are not very good. We might skip the water for now. I don't want to skip the water. But you know what I do want to skip is all these warnings. So maybe I do want to get rid of that water for now. What? The reference script is missing. Oh, because I don't have water anymore. Jerk. Awesome, no warnings. Man, those warnings are getting on my nerves anyway. This is definitely a bug I really want to address soon. Is like, how do we... This guy gets stuck all the time everywhere. How do we get unstuck? What's the best solution? Whoa. What's going on? I don't understand why he goes all the way to 0. Alright, well, there's another thing I want to do too. Whoa, terrain went black too. I don't need to debug everything all the time now. So under, I guess, terrain dig, or sand collection. What was I playing with? Oh, the panning, right? Yeah, we don't need to log that anymore. Alright, so that's working just fine. This seems to be working okay. So I'm moving the local position of the player, but when I tab back over to main camera control, there's nothing really happening. I don't know. Because look, I'm going to move over here, tab, oh yeah, I can't get the initial offset. That's okay, I guess. No, it's not okay. I don't know what I want. I totally forgot what this code was doing. So I might just delete this for now. Don't worry about the initial offset. I'm going to have to delete the initial offset here too. And delete this vector 3. And I might start, instead of saying serialized, yeah, I'll keep it serialized for now. We'll clean up our variables later. Okay. Alright, so no warnings or anything this time. Yep, still moves. Okay, better. I don't know. The initial offset stuff was kind of screwing everything up. And maybe it's just because it was old code or something. And player. Alright, is there any chance you're going to fall off? Yes. Okay, so we got the player walking around. I hit tab. He can definitely see what's going on. Oh no, but he still shifts weird places when I hit tab. Oh, because position doesn't get updated right away. That's what I need to do. So if player is null, position equals player.transform.position. That's what I need to do. Because when he's at 0, it works fine, but otherwise it doesn't. So okay, go over here, tab, tab. So at least, oh wait, but what? When I tab back over, player's getting pushed back to wherever he was. So maybe I might, oh wait, I'm doing position here and local position down there. Is that what I want to do? I think they're one and the same now, because player is basically on the root level. So that's okay. So it's like the last position. So now if I go like way over here, I think I'm going to teleport next time I hit tab. Because player is not null anymore. So, okay. So what am I going to do? I guess position is just going to be player. Yeesh. I think position is just going to be equal to player dot position, transform dot position every time, and then you do stuff to it, and then you just set it back. I think that's all I'm going to do to it. So really we're not, yeah, that's fine. I think that's fine at least. So we're moving, we tab, untab, go over here, tab, untab, works fine. And even now, I'm running in circles. I love that you can see your hands and legs. Go over here, do a little digging. Oh yeah, I don't like that. I like the the 0.001. So I'll do that in the terrain dig. 0.00. Let's do 0.002. No, I did that last time and I didn't like it. So I think that's good. 001. If I go to player camera, 0.001. Okay. Finally, a player that can go to some sand, look in here, start digging around, collecting sand, building some walls. Bam, made a hole for me to get stuck on. Yeah. But little does he know I have a trick. I can do this. I can move while I'm in first person mode just by yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So if I move too far away, my guy's like, no, I want to be where I was. So you can pan a little bit around and it's okay. But the second you get too far away, he starts wanting to to move exactly where you were. That's pretty funny. So this is the two movement engines fighting. This is nav mesh agent and just me controlling the position of the player automatically. So this is me digging in the sand. Made a hole. Can make a little wall. It's like I'm making a crater. So yeah, that's digging in the sand. That looks pretty good, right? Looks like I'm digging on the moon more than the sand right now, but that's okay. I don't have enough zoom, I guess, for to move down. Or is that like the maximum I can move down? I'm gonna jump off the world. See you guys forever. Ah! Okay. So we're combining things. We can get the player to move around. When he goes into first person mode, he can dig sand castle. He can dig in the sand. But there's some problems we have. First thing is if we move him around in first person mode, so I hit tab, he's in first person mode. I can hold down the middle click, he just moves around. First of all, he's just idle animation, which is okay for now. That's that's more just polish or aesthetics or something. But the things that I do worry about is if I go too far away from my position. Oh, right at the beginning you don't have a position. Oops. So at the beginning I don't have a set destination, but if I move here, then I hit tab, if I try to move too far away from my position, nav mesh agent's like, whoa, 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 I belong here. So you got to kind of disable the nav mesh agent. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I think I might just take away the destination. I think you can just say set destination null, and he no longer wants to go anywhere. And that might just be the best way to do it. But the other bad parts about it is if I drag myself into the box behind me, I'm pretty strong. I can just move anything I want, because this is literally just changing the position of an object. So okay, let me do that first thing. I'm gonna just set destination to null. So I don't know if I just do that here on the terrain dig. I think so. No, on the camera pan, because that's what is affecting it, I guess. So I got player, and I'm only going to do this. Now I'm going to do this all the time. This feels like I'm just wasting cycles, because it's stuff in your update loop. You never want to do it like this, and look at me, I'm just doing it. Oh my gosh, and I'm getting a component. I'm just crazy. This is not how you're supposed to program in Unity. So we got the nav mesh agent. I'm going to just set destination to false, to null, to 0. Can I just delete destination, or like destination? Let me just say null. Will that work? Can't be null. Well, the other thing we can always do is just set the destination to exactly where we are at all times, like that, but that's kind of lame. But that's what I'm going to do now, and at least it's going to work. So now I can go as far as I want and back off, but I know this is that's wasting so many unnecessary CPU cycles. I think it should happen right when I hit the tab. Sorry, I'm trying to jump on boxes. That's one of the things I love doing in this thing, and I have no idea why. Alright. Ooh, I can dig from up here. Uh-oh, my guy's sliding though. He doesn't have very much friction. Actually, I should build a moat. Let me fill this in if I can. Oh, my guy's falling. Man, I tell you what, it's really hard to smooth this out with the tools I gave the sand builder. Like it's almost impossible to smooth this out. I'm gonna have to have like some kind of like pat hand. Like one will be a dig hand and the other one will be like a smooth hand, or I'll just get like an average of the area, not necessarily yeah, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna make that smooth again. Alright, so I had this little moat, build a wall. And then if I'm not happy, I can like come around it and then just keep working on this side. Oh good, my sand collection keeps up too. And then I'm like, alright, let me go over here. Alright, somewhere like right there. Even though I'm falling, I can still dig, because that makes a lot of sense. And actually I can kind of pan around and put some stuff here. I guess, I know, I got this first person mode. I think what would be really good for the first person mode is to make it like a first person shooter, because I think that would have some natural, like, you can edit this in first person mode, but you never want to be in like this mode all the time. Mostly you want to be in this mode so you can go check things out. But what I'll do is I'll even make him really slow in first person mode, maybe. I don't know, I haven't decided. But yeah, look at that. I mean, my ground is totally taking shape. Like, that was just me playing in the sand. But yeah, there's definitely stuff about movement in this rough terrain that I gotta handle. There's no way I'm gonna be able to let my players get stuck all the time. That's super annoying. But I mean, just look at that. That's pretty nifty. What's my camera doing, by the way? It's this is what I want my view to be, and it always starts on the right of him. So maybe I want like my rotation. Is that one of the things I can set? Position, velocity, acceleration. No, for the third person camera. I guess I want this to be 90 to start off with. Negative 90 or 270. Yeah, that looks good. At least it starts from the back this time. So yeah, the code works. Totally inefficient though. So I need to definitely fix that up. But it's been an hour, and I think I just need to take a break for today. So I am gonna close this up. But we merged the two scenes together, so now scene 00 is using the terrain, so my guy can move all over it, but at the same time we can now dig on it again. So that's a new feature in this scene, so that's great. I can see that's something I definitely need to fix how movement gets handled on these rough surfaces, and I think instead of using a mound, I'm just going to create a mound when sandcastles get destroyed. So that should be interesting. But just curious, I wonder what happens if I try to bake with this on. Alright, cool. So now we know you can't really go in these areas. Like, my nav mesh agent will be smarter. Smarter, not the smartest. But yeah, I can click on here and he knows to like walk around this. And like the only way this works is if I like start digging some more and like make a hole or make something else and then hit bake again. Can I bake during the scene? I guess not, because I really don't want to walk in that area now. Or if I click here, I don't want to walk on that thing because I'll get stuck. So, but if I go off of this, hit bake, then hit play again. Continue baking. I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Okay. So it's doing stuff. I'll let it do its thing. Let's go to the README and just start figuring out what we did and what was left to do. Alright, so README episode 11. What did we do? The first person camera now moves player instead of camera. I'm going to say suggestion, first person camera should act like FPS, like a first person shooter. So I can take that out of feature. The next thing is merged terrain scene and movement scene into one beautiful scene. Changed controls from placing sandcastles to digging. And is that all we did? I think so. I mean, that's a lot, but I think that's all we did. I think it stopped baking and stuff, so let's take a look. Let's just play. Tired of waiting for you to bake. So what did I dig? Something up here. I got stuck in it. So let's see if I can kind of... Yeah, I think my Unity's confused as well. It thinks it's baking and it's not really baking because I tried to bake while it was playing. So I'm going to close it out for a sec and then reopen it. Yep. Yes, please save the changes to this thing. Okay. So that's baking its stuff. And I was going to bake the nav mesh. And yeah, now it's a little different. So now I won't get stuck in that little hole thing because I'll go around it. Maybe this thing? Nope, I can definitely get stuck on that thing. Where is that? And why didn't you catch it, nav mesh? Alright. Okay. All looking good. I'll stop playing here in Unity. Let's keep going with the README. So we did the first person camera controls, moves player instead of camera. First person camera should act like FPS. Merge terrain scene and movement scene. Change controls from placing sandcastle to digging. Yeah, that's all we did so far. Future, what we need to do. Let's optimize our code just a bit. Optimize/refactor our code. I think that's going to be my next thing. I know it's boring, but it's something that has to be done just a few times during the project, so your project doesn't get out of hand. So it's going to be a little tedious, but we'll do it together. I'll talk through it. At least it'll be less tedious for me if I talk through it. I don't know if it'll be any less tedious for you just watching it, but yeah, anyway. So that's what I'll probably do tomorrow most of the time, and then maybe we can break down these water waves into something we have to do. Oh, actually, let's do some other things I noticed. Fix movement getting caught in all sorts of nooks. Is that how you spell nooks? And crannies? Maybe it's just without the K. And so we optimized the code. We're going to fix the movement engine. And what else? I'm sorry, I'm thinking, so I'm looking down because that's my thinking face. Fix movement. Okay, I gotta play it. I mean, that's the only way I know what's wrong with it. So I get stuck in all these things unless I rebake it every time. There, see, I'm so annoyed with it getting stuck. Hit tab. Oh, change your controls. This is just an executive decision I'm making right now, but I'm gonna just change the controls so that it's a PC only game. I'm not gonna worry about making this mobile right now, and the reason I do that is because I'm really not testing it on my mobile device. I'm just testing it here on my PC. I think I'm putting too much time and effort to like oh, but what if it's mobile, you know? Maybe I should have the little touch screen moving and everything. But I'm here just to make the game first. I can worry about changing the controls after I have the game ready. So I'm totally going to just do keyboard and mouse keys. And it's going to be the basic WASD and your mouse. Maybe space, maybe control, but not much more than that. And maybe tab or something, maybe 1, 2, 3, or just for different cameras. But your hand is basically going to be on the left hand side of the keyboard, and your right hand is going to be on the mouse. Okay. So for next time, it's those 3 things: optimize code, fix movement, and change controls. and then Sunday we'll get into the water waves, and then see if we can make some things kind of. More about controls. Controls. Place sandcastle mode. Controls. Smooth terrain mode. Controls. Dig. Place sand, and I'll just say that's in place now. So that's other things I want to do. Is like I want to smooth out the terrain. I want to place sandcastles, and yes, that is what we should do next time. Hopefully, I have enough time to do all of that. All right, I'm gonna just check a few things before I go, and then I'm gonna close it all out. So thank you all for coming. Hope you had a good time, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye. Oh, and before I go, I'm going to commit this. So all my changes are going to be done. I saw another developer, I was following someone else, and I saw that they were using some other software, maybe even better software, because this is for non-commercial use, like you see here at the bottom. So I'm going to see, there's some freeware one. I'm going to see if there's any license agreements to it, and if not, that's what I'm going to use, as opposed to this one. So what else did we do here before I close it out? Okay, oh, you know what I can do? I can just go to my README here and just copy this part, and that will be my my commit things. I hope that's okay. I hope that works. Awesome. And that seems pretty good. Stage all that, commit and push. Done. Goodbye everybody. See you Saturday, sometime in the morning. And sorry this one was so late. Bye.